Hey guys, welcome back to Taste of Victory. I'm TastyRC, and today I have a deck profile of green post-limit list as of February 27th, 2021. This is immediately after the end of the Nightmare Coliseum, which I just entered this weekend. We did end up placing in the top 8s for it. In this tournament, really, outside of first and second place, nothing really matters, but out of 29 entrants, we did end up exactly at 8th place. So I did get a round 1 bye, to be fair, because of winning last week's or the previous Nightmare Coliseum. So, this is what I entered Nightmare Coliseum with. This is a post-limit list, post-ban/limit list green profile. So, a lot of people were asking for a new deck profile with green because I literally just made one like days, I think, before Bandai announced the new limit list. So, thanks a lot for that, Bandai. But yeah, that is that list is outdated now, so it can't be used. So now this is the new list. So a lot of people were wondering when's that new list coming. Like, is green even viable after it, or what's the new strategy? You know. And the thing is, it absolutely is 100% still viable because the new tools that we got in Booster Set 5 are fantastic, and it is absolutely still able to make it work. I did a lot of testing with it. I wouldn't say this is the optimal build after a ton of testing and after how I performed in the tournament. There are suggestions for changes I will make towards the end of the video, but let's go ahead and get on the profile. So first, I know we got stats here, we can turn them on. Yes, we got 5 Digitama. So originally I was running only 4 because of Yokomon, because this card is amazing. When this card is trashed due to activating this Digimon's Digiburst, one of your Digimon gets plus 2000 DP. So if Raffleishamon uses this, you're at a 15k beater right away. Like holy, you're already swinging for Omnimon levels. That's pretty crazy. So originally I was only running this at 4, so I would always see it. But because we do have a bunch of Mimis, you run out of eggs fast, and you want that extra draw, you want that grind game. So I did add 1 Budmon. So we're running 5 eggs, 4 Yokomon, 1 Budmon. Your turn while Digimon has Digiburst, it gets plus 1000 DP. So kind of irrelevant. I mean, I'm sure the situation where it comes up, but I never realize it because by the time I want to swing, I've already Digibursted it away. So for rookies, we are running 16. And I have 4 or 8 total of the 2-cost champions, 2-cost rookies. So yeah, 4 Goblies, 4 Argomon level 2s, level 3s. And you'll notice in the previous green build I had that this was also the ratio I went for these rookies, because this is just so fantastic in green. Because, you know, green has a lot of download stuff, so you want to go wide. You want those extra bodies to be able to use download without having to download on yourself. Or Digisorption is what the term is going to be in English. Sorry. To be able to do that without downloading yourself, Digisorptioning yourself. So that's why I run maxed out of those rookies, because they are fantastic for going wide or if you brick or whatever. So those are pretty self-explanatory. They're just super cheap. Next we got, I believe we introduced this set, Booster Set 5, Terriermon Assistant. So it has a main effect, Digiburst 1, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a green Digimon, add it to your hand, otherwise place it at the bottom of your deck. So if you guys remember the previous deck profile, this is literally just Tentomon from the structure deck, but with a Digiburst effect. So that's pretty weird. Like, why would I not just on-play Tentomon, and you also get a body and immediately get to use it, right? And but the thing is, this Digiburst is not once per turn. So this will come up later, but if you get Palmon underneath it, you fuel another one to unbreak your hand, potentially, or whatever, you know? Or you can just keep using it. So that's pretty cool. That's really great for, you know, just for having that other Digiburst target and stuff. And it works great with Mimi because you can use its effect, turbo it out, and in that same turn you can search for it, you know, try to unbreak your hand. So Terriermon Assistant has a lot of synergy with this deck, which is why we run it. And then, so that's at 4, just because we want those Digiburst targets. And then after that, we got Palmon, also at 4. On deletion, place 1 Palmon for your trash to the bottom of one of your green Digimon's Digivolution cards. So this card places itself, is the important thing to realize. This Palmon places itself underneath a Digimon when it is deleted. So this card is fantastic. It fuels all of your Digiburst. Like, you don't have to worry too much if you hardcasted something. You could, you know, fill up the Digiburst, the stack requirements by ramming this thing into security. So you get to check security, and you get to fuel your Digiburst. You get to refill them, you know, like Raffleishamon. You could Digivolve over yourself, but if you Digivolved all of your stack away already, Digivolving it into Rafflesia into itself, that's still only one source. So Palmon lets you go into that second source you need to Digiburst without having to Digivolve again and spend extra memory. So Palmon is fantastic. I love it. So that's 4. That is our 16 rookies. So I will say 16 rookies, that's a lot, a pretty high-end ratio, the absolute max I would recommend anyone to run. But the thing is, I do think this, at least in this build, this is too much. Because what I felt was like, I always want to see my rookies. See, what happens is I never see them. They are always stuck in security. So my security is like full of a bunch of weenies that don't do anything to help, you know, push game or help turn the turn of the game. So that's really unfortunate. Like, not only my bricking, now my security is not aggressive at all. So I would cut this down to 15 at least, possibly 14. I don't know what I would cut though. Probably Terriermon Assistant I feel like would be the best cut if I had to. Maybe the 2-cost rookies, probably, yes. One of those. But yeah, I think 16 rookies might be a little much. If you really want them to see in your opening hands, go for it. I'm not arguing with that ratio for sure. But I mean, that's what I did, and I never saw them draw all in security. Instead, I get cutting it down. Like, how does that fix it? But that's just something to keep in mind. It weakens your security as well. So next, we got the champion lineup. We do have 12 level 4s. So I did an interesting split here. I'm running 4 blockers, but 2 of them are Woodmons, which is the 2-cost to Digivolve, 6k, and then Kabuterimon, which is 1 cost but 5k. So the reason for this is I just genuinely could not choose, because I want, obviously, the 1 cost, because it's amazing, a 1 cost and a blocker, but the thing is, in Booster Set 5, there is a lot of hate for 5 cost, for the 5k blockers, because, let's see, yellow, you could play out Nightmon with Crusadermon's inheritable effect, and then with its when attacking effect, and then one of its inheritables will just altogether pop your blocker, so you can't even block. Or if you're playing red, you know, if they have Zeke or Omnimon Shout in that Shoutmon DX stack, it also pops 5k Digimon. So Woodmon avoids a lot of that, thankfully. But the thing is, it's 2 costs, so you know, for opening turns, it's really hard, because if I had full Kabuteris, I would have really good chances of seeing 1-cost champion at the beginning of every one of my games to be able to choke at 1 memory to start my opponent off like that. Because there's unfortunately times where I just have to Digivolve at 2 and give them more memory than I would like. But then there's that trade-off of avoiding all those things and stuff in tournament, avoiding all those effects, still being able to block and stuff. So it's valuable. I think at the end of the day, I would probably just lean towards the 1k blocker, because of that memory choke's pretty good, and you know, every other matchup you still get to block. If you play around it, know what your opponent's doing, you still get to block. So I would probably lean towards Commentary, but it's totally a preference and a meta call up to you. So the next champion we have here is Sunflowmon. So Sunflowmon is main Digiburst 2. You may trash any 2 cards from this Digivolution stat to trigger the following effect. Choose one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. Choose one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. During your opponent's next unsuspend phase, that Digimon cannot unsuspend. So in certain colors, this is fantastic. Like, I'm thinking yellow and red, possibly black too. I'm pretty sure all these colors have like no way to unsuspend themselves through effects. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe yellow has some kind of on play that does that. I don't remember off the top of my head. But purple, this isn't that great of a card, because the thing is, purple has a bunch of option cards, and if not, like inheritable effects and stuff, that'll just unsuspend their Digimon, so they can play around this, because this only locks them from unsuspending during their unsuspend phase. There's different ways around it. Blue, it also doesn't work that well, depending on what level they're at. So this is definitely a matchup dependent card, but I really like it. It doesn't come up too often, but I will talk about a tech choice of why it's another thing to consider anyways. But when it comes up, it's pretty clutch. It does a nice 5k DP on it. It's not too terrible. It comes up eventually. And then, personally, my favorite champion in this lineup, my favorite level 4, Weedmon. Not just because of the name, but also because it's an inheritable effect. Your turn, when this Digimon triggers Digiburst and trashes this card, gain 1 memory. So later I will talk about tech choices, but this card is fantastic because it enables a lot of stuff. It gives you that extra memory, you know, to go into a Mega sometimes. Like if you're at 2, Digiburst into 3, and if not, Digiburst to be able to choke them with your next play more efficiently at 1 memory or something like that. So yeah, Weedmon is fantastic for building you resources and being able to like finish extra plays off. I love it in Digiburst stack, so it's fantastic. And then, it's similar to Vegemon, it is only 4 on play and 1 to Digivolve, so that is fantastic if you brick and you want to play it, or if you just want to Digivolve and choke your opponent. Overall, really well statted card. I like it a lot. So now we're going into the Ultimates. So this is where I would start changing stuff. Ultimates, I am running 8. In my testing, I did feel this ended up being a little too little. I would run 9, I would say. Since Argomon is limited to 1, I would run Argomon in there, just toss it in, have a 9th ultimate, probably just cut HPD. And then, but what we do have is we do have Blossomon, so pretty self-explanatory. Free level 5, it's a downloader. Why would I not? It's for free, might as well run it. And then we have Lilomon, so it is 3 costs, by far the most expensive ultimate to Digivolve into in this deck, but its main Digiburst is really fantastic. This is just a mini Hercules Kabuterimon. When Digivolved, or main Digiburst 2, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. So like if your opponent moves out of the breeding area too early, you can unsuspend, and with its 7k DP, it's really beefy. Like a lot of ultimates are 6k, decent amount, like a very few amount are 5k even, I think. So like that Digiburst is fantastic. You can stop their stack before they get to climb, you know, with Lilamon itself. And if they don't have anything ready in the raising area, or if you choke them appropriately, it's going to be really hard for them to answer back and plow over Lilamon. And then its Inheritable is also amazing. When you have a Tamer suspend one of your opponent's Digimon, this is just a straight up better Lilymon. Because it has the same Inheritable, but it can't do that to blockers. So, thankfully, Lilamon can do that with blockers. Suspend with a Tamer. It needs a Tamer out, so that kind of like I get the trade-off. But yeah, you get to suspend blockers, so you don't have to worry if one's on the board. So that's a fantastic card. Almost always comes up, the Digiversing and stuff. The resting, fantastic ultimate. I really liked it a lot in my testing. After that, we got Bancho Stingmon. So this was a very last-minute addition. I was testing this deck all week, and eventually I felt like I just wanted something to be more aggressive, and I cut what was originally Nidhoggmon and some Rosemons for 2 Stingmons, for Bancho Stingmons, because my idea was a lot of people were probably going to be playing Lord Knightmon, or Crusadermon, whatever the yellow deck is called, and that's effect to boost its DP is all turns. So even on my turn, it'll be over 12k, so I'll be able to pierce with it, check through security. There is that one Kiramon Inheritable that gives you plus 100 on your opponent's turn, so that puts Diaboromon to 12k. I can get the security effect off of that. Omnimon if I face against red, you know. There's a lot of targets for this in BT5 meta, so I feel it definitely has a place in the meta. But I don't think it actually came up. I didn't end up facing off against too many yellows myself. I luckily avoided them, but I still ended up losing. But it's fine. So yeah, Diaboromon's just really matchup specific. So like if you run into Rookie Rush, absolutely useless top end. So I don't know. Bancho Sting is a tech card, and I feel in Digimon you need, if you want to run a tech card, you need to run at least 2. Otherwise, you're never seeing your tech card. But I don't know. If you need something to cut down or change to a different meta, this is where I would, to a different level 6 mega. This is where I would start cutting. Then the face of the deck, Raffleishamon. Raffleishamon is the MVP. Digiburst has basically is the new gimmick we're going to go with for green going forward after the limiting list. Because this card is unbelievable. Main Digiburst 2, all of your Digimon get plus 1000 DP. So you'll know if you have Yokomon underneath it, your Raffleishamon is now 15k. Your whole board is like beefed up now. And then your turn, once per turn, your Digimon uses Digiburst 1. Once per turn, your Digimon uses Digiburst. One of your opponent's Digimon cannot attack or block until the end of your next opponent's next turn. So this is fantastic. This came up so much in the tournament. You just stun whatever your opponent's answer is to Raffleishamon, and they can't answer it because like I literally can't swing. What am I supposed to do? And then because you can Digivolve from a level 5, but you could also Digivolve from a level 6 for the cost of 1. So what you do here is, you know, you can Digivolve off an ultimate, burst, stun it, Digivolve for 1 over itself, and because this is a soft once per turn and not a hard once per turn, you can Digiburst again and stun another thing despite being once per turn with Raffleishamon's effect. So this is an amazing, fantastic defensive card, aggressive really if you play it differently too. So yeah, Raffleishamon is the crux of this deck. It is amazing. It'll single-handedly steal you games by stalling for turns while you get to chip away at security slowly but surely. Then we got one hidden potential discovered because, you know, if you still can run it, why not? So personally, if you need to start cutting, this is where I would suggest to start cutting because the most expensive Digivolution here is 3. Like, yeah, green is used a lot cheaper than that, but big deal. We have Memory Tamers to give us that 3 at the start of the turn, so hidden potential didn't come up too often. I would cut it if you're not running it. If you're not running like Nidhogg or something like that. But it's still free Digivolution, you know, still good. And here we got 4 Whistling. So I was testing different ratios of this card all week. And you definitely want this card to beef up your security. Because like the problem with this deck is your security, your highest DP is 11,000. Your DP is not your security, I mean, is not threatening at all. So this helps beef it up a bit because your main effect, up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon cannot attack or block until the end of your opponent's next turn. And then if you have a Digimon with Digiburst, gain 2 memory. So, you know, with all the Digiburst targets we have, including Terriermon, Blossomon, Sunflowmon, Raffleishamon, we have so many opportunities to get this for only 4 memory, and that's really a game swinging. That's game swinging for only 4 memory. You know, stall just the last couple of turns you need. Then you got your security effect. Up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon cannot attack for the turn. Then if you have a Digimon with Digiburst, gain 2 memory. So this basically becomes a Hammer Spark in security with an added effect. Like that can end turn and save you. And then up to 2 of your opponent's Digimon cannot attack or block for the turn. So like that stuns 2 more, gives you, you know, if the memory didn't pass turn already, that at least stops your opponent from swinging per game. This is a fantastic card that makes a lot of matchups doable, honestly. Like, I don't know, like without this, I don't know how good the yellow matchup would be. Like, it's a really uphill battle, and this helps that little bit. So next, we got the final card in this we have is Mimi Tachikawa. So I have been vocal, I think, in my previous videos that I don't like Mimi. I think previously it was honestly really, really overrated because green was such a tempo deck and you get so much tempo by playing 4. But now, because of all the synergy, you know, with Terriermon Assistant, with Palmon, with needing those 3 memory to go into Raffalationmon and start doing your plays, this card is unbelievable and I love it now. It's a fantastic card. 4 is too bricky because really 1 Mimi is all you need. The double Mimi is crazy, but like it's just not, it's a meme, you know, it's not that much of a difference from having the 1. There's some situations where it'll push you for game, but otherwise it's a brick. I'm not going to be hardcasting it often. So yeah, Mimi Tachikawa at 3 I feel is the perfect amount because 2 you're not likely to see it. 3 at least you could dig through your deck and see it. And then you just got your ultimates out. You pump out your Digiburster so you can search with Terriermon or reload your Digiburst with Palmon. It is a fantastic card. Okay, so tech choices. So first up, this is what I was running before, Rosemon. This is the first tech choice I recommend for you guys, and this card is really amazing. I love this. But I just felt when it comes up, it swings you game, but it almost never gets to come up because of the 3 to Digivolve. So when Digivolving, only when Digivolving, that's important to note, Digiburst 3, all of your Digimon with Digiburst gain security attack +1. So yeah, for 3 Digibursts, all of your Digiburst security gets security attack +1, and that includes this one. So the thing is, that is 3, so you have to bring it out of, at least, if not out of Raising, then out of a rookie that you hardcast, like the 2-cost ones. And then you need to make sure you don't pass, so you need to have your Memory Tamer out for it to be effective. And then the thing is as well that a lot of your other Digibursters are kind of weenies. Like this guy, Terrier Assistant, is literally 1k. Sunflomon's a little better, at least at 5k. But then, you know, Lilamon is only going to be out on the field if you're winning, so it just becomes win more. So that's why I felt in my testing it was the first card to cut because of that. But when it comes out, it's great because, like, you know, 3 memory, right? Start your turn, you have your Tamer out, 3 memory, Digivolve into over a stack that has Weedmon, Digiburst right away with 1 Digivolving, then you gain that 1 memory back. So now it is your turn. This thing has security attack +1. Potentially, let's say Terrier Assistant's out, Digiburst +1. So they're both at security attack +1. Now you have that 1 extra memory off Weedmon, you could go into Raffalationmon without passing turn. So Raffalationmon is now a security attack +1. Digiburst away the Rosemon plus whatever was left from its Digiburst if you brought it out of the Raising area. And then you get +2 to everything. So that's also assuming you had Yokomon in, let's say, both of these stacks. So this guy suddenly becomes a 5k. This one suddenly becomes 15k. Sunflowmon suddenly becomes 9k, so they're a little bit more likely to survive the security checks at least. And because the thing with this low, you know, the security +1 may not even come into play because it's so low unless you check an option or something. But with the boost, it kind of starts adding up. And then, you know, so Raffalationmon's 50k, you check 2, you check 3 minimum for potentially with Terriermon or Sunflow, so that becomes really threatening on the right stack. But the thing is, you do have to have that specific stack in mind for that combo. You do need a Tamer. I'm not even running her at 4. There is an argument to run her at 4, but, you know, it just feels so bricky at that point. So that is the first tech option. It's really good. I just don't know, you know, it's just really got to play into it carefully. But yeah, that's the first tech option. Next text option that I really like is Yoshino, the green Tamer. So for 3, on play, return one of your Digi-Eggs from trash to the bottom of your Digi-Egg deck. And then when it's your turn, when Digivolving one of your Digimon into a Digimon in your hand with Digiburst, you may suspend this Tamer to reduce the memory cost by 1. So that only makes the Rosemon combo even better, you know, because making it cheaper 2 instead of 3. And then the on-play is great. It helps your grind game, get more babies out, get Yoko every time, so fuel your Digiburst even more. So that is a really good card. So like I feel like 3 Mimis would be bricky. Maybe you could do 3 Mimis, 1 Yoshino if you have the space for it. So that's definitely the first tech option I would suggest. Pretty good synergy with the rest of the deck. I tested it for a bit. It was nice, but I just didn't end up going with it. But definitely worth considering, and I have to test it more thoroughly to see how I feel about it. And then obviously next one is Nidhoggmon. Nidhoggmon is just fantastic because in the right decks it's an entire board clear, like against Yellow. Yellow is very vulnerable to this because not only is there Nightmon rested, most of these guys coming out outside of Nightmon are 5k or below, so this does flip a lot of them. So that's a tech option. Since you already have HBD too, you can potentially play it for free. So that's definitely an option to consider. I like that one. I was testing it at 1. When I saw it, it was clutch, but I almost never saw it because it was only at 1, and that's hard to see cards in this game with only 1 in your deck. But anyways, those are the tech options. And what and then obviously the last one, always good to run in green decks, is Chaosmon. So which one is up to your preference. If you want to be more aggressive, Chaosmon to get that extra security and clearing board with piercing. I personally was testing Volderon, and I really like Volderon because that minus 7k kills a lot of things Yellow pumps out, a lot of ultimates even, and if not, it's a panic button to get rid of big megas. Because of Lord Nightmon's effect, where it boosts itself even on your turn, this is one of the only ways you may be able to even beat over it, because with 2 bodies on board, it's already at 13k on your turn. So that's definitely a tech option to consider. What I would cut, I would definitely cut right away HPD if you want to run one of those things. Definitely cut out Bancho Stingmon if you want to run Rosemon or Nidhogg instead. That's definitely your preference. I don't know about lowering Whistling. I would lower it maybe at max to 3, because I really do want this card, because it really does help you stall out for some games just in long enough to win it. And if not, it's crucial in security to beef up your security. So that's probably where I would start cutting. I wouldn't mess with the Mimi ratio. I would definitely start cutting rookies, maybe 2 of that, so like bring it down to 14 or 15 even, to make space for an extra Tamer or an extra Digimon. So that is my opinions on that. So that is the green post-ban list, post-limit list deck profile. It is more Digiverse focused now. It can absolutely still compete. This is the top 8 placing from 29 players. We'll have to see for the webcam tournaments whenever we get these cards in English for a more serious, well, not serious, because this is pretty serious, really good players in the tournament, but you know, just a wider player pool, see how longer it could go. But still, it's a good deck. It can definitely compete. I definitely still testing this. I'm just showing this because this is what I use to get a decent placement, so it'll only get more optimized too. Let me know what you guys are doing, what you guys are changing. And I do have a couple games from this tournament that will be going up with my commentary breakdown later in the week, so look forward to that. Make sure you stick around to be alerted when those go up. So I hope you guys like this video. Let me know what you want to see in the future videos. And until then, remember to stay hungry until you get a taste of victory.